Hi everybody, my name is Anurag Singh and today I'm going to talk about a topic that is universities should be a place for creativity, out of the box thinking and ideological disruptions. Starting with the quote, students must be taught how to think, not what to think. This enlightening quote by Margaret Mead shook the 20th century global system of education by its roots. Education at that time is designed to be a submissive and morally imposed knowledge, infiltrated with a hierarchical structure. Universities of colonial and post-colonial world thus inherited this regime change. Amartya Sen, in his book The Argumentative Indian, cherished the Indian habit of dissent, debate, and discussion. He credited this habit of congenial ancient practice of development in our great universities of Takshila, Nalanda, and Vikramshila and Udanpuri. The Buddhist Mahaviras explored epistemology, philosophy, and dialect centuries before the Western philosophy. Hegel, Nietzsche, and Marx who championed these subjects. Creativity and out of the box thinking is reflected in the Vedas and Upanishads, especially in the debate between the Gargi and Yajnavalkya in Chandogya Upanishad, where the innovative awareness were brought by through the rigorous questioning of the norms. Universities of the medieval India remain obscure, although they are doing good. Have given good examples on earlier ideological disruptions in the form of Akbar's religional debates on Ibadat Khana. The Islamic creativity of the out-of-the-box thinking brought out the early Indian society as well as relief to the lower section of the society. Creativity of India, though thought began to be crushed by the cunning policies of the Anglicist and the Anglicist from Britain, though they are broadened the knowledge base initially by courtesy of Orientalism, the latter half of the 19th century devised the top down in the foreign policy and interfere in the heart and minds of the Indian. The universities were the first to respond to this mental colonialism and intellectual oppression. Young Bengal movement under the Vivian Henry Dargio brought about the creativity is tackling social issues, out of the box thinking, and promoting scientific temper among the students and ideological disruption against orthodox thought of the Indian gentry. Curzon's 1905 University Act suppressed all forms of dissent in colleges and universities and enhanced the control. All the aforementioned examples help us to understand the freedom of thoughts and is an inalienable human rights which are thought to be recognized in history. Did make it a way through always been continue to be in a fountainhead and progressive ideas and changes. Creativity and innovative process should therefore be encouraged. The peculiar relation between the three levels of education illustrate the importance of the creative approach at the level of primary, secondary, and tertiary, that is university level. However, primary and secondary is a regimental approach in India, and moral obedience and discipline is imbibed in the students at this stage. Therefore, it become the more essential and free of the restrictions and third of their university level. When the young caterpillars form a cocoon and a pulp and pupa later, there comes a time when it break free as a butterfly and is spread its wings. Universities play a role in nurturing the flights of these young butterflies. University is the hub of diversity. They welcome the students from across the spectrum of the society. Either they are merit in on privilege. However, once the individual participate in the so-called college culture, he or she must feel the scope of bound possibilities that awaits him and that awaits him. The debates and discussions must be encouraged and the possibilities must be realized. A culture of the creativity and innovative thinking is the key to be healthy society. Universities, if supposed in these aspects, will produce promoting graduates who will work towards the betterment of the society and setup. The Niti Aayog's report on tertiary education found that liberalizing the universities could boost social metrics index by reducing poverty by 5 to 6%. Raja Ram Mohan Roy wrote in his journal, The Sambad Kaumudini, on founding the Calcutta Hindu College that instilling the rationality and empathy in the primary goal of the education and universities must adhere to it. Creativity in the field of art, commerce, science, and performing arts is not only interdisciplinary but are potential unfamiliar. For example, Stephen Hawking in his research for unifying theory of the universe took the help of several pop culture artists and even magicians. Albert Einstein was an adept violin player at the Vienna University while studying the mathematics and physics. Manjula Bhargav, India's former mathematician and tabla player, highlights the importance of promoting the out-of-the-box thinking and multi-pronged approach in Indian universities. The gross enrollment ratio at the tertiary level of education only 2.5% in India, where the primary level of education is 99.7% in India. This huge gap is due to the several structural and socio-economic issues, among which restricted environment of the university is one. According to HRD Ministry, data about 5.5% of admitted college students drop out annually. Social pressure, discrimination, sexism, and violence, along with the lack of psychological and social support, top the major reasons for the situation. Thus, date only thus date only aggregates the need of having open institutions and universities. Distance learning, open courseware, and counseling need to be encouraged, spreading tertiary education. There are just a few of the potential out-of-the-box solutions. Employability is a serious issue after accessibility and affordability of universities. According to the McKinsey Institution study, only 2.5% of annual pass-outs are employable in any sector. This is because our curriculum is encouraged rote learning and promote the score marking. Free thinking, imperialism, experimentation, and innovation are not part of the syllabi of universities. And hence, none of the institutions feature the top 100 world. Even the 20 institutions recommended by N. Gopalaswamy Committee of Institutions of Eminence far behind. Thus, intricate changes in this curriculum are oriented learning towards the creativity and out-of-the-box thinking are necessary to reach levels of Oxford, Cambridge, and MIT. Students of Indian origin forms a massive chunk of batches at the great universities of the world. This shows how the condition of the Indian higher education system do we need to create reforms to gauge prospective or brain drain to these talented youth. Along with the promoting diversity, universities are a reflection of the ideals of our constitution. Article 14, the rule of law; Article 15, equality; Article 19, freedom of expression; Article 21, life and liberty; Article 29, safeguard of linguistic and religious minorities; Article 30, minority institutions are direct relations with the universities. And the fundamental rights, along with the several directive principles and the duties, will be strengthened only if we encourage ideological disruptions and creativity free of speech. The critical analyses are indispensable for holistic development. Constant constructive criticism springly out of the universities would mean better prospect of having better lawyers, media persons, scholars, teachers, academic, and professionals in the future. This will lead to a better function of the government and ultimately a good governance. It will also proliferate awareness throughout the social spectrum and especially to the remote areas about their rights. Further, good debaters and thinkers will make great leaders. Readers today, leaders tomorrow, said Aristotle. A mature citizenry with neutral ideological prospects can only be achieved when they are as young students go through the rigorous ideological disruptions, making mistakes and learning from them. With the coming of digital age, It is absolutely imperative to be free of our universities from the shackles of the old customs that bind us. Renaissance is the basis for the Reformation. G.F.L. Hegel had said, this time the modern Renaissance in the universities, it will be a creative, digital and ideological awakening of Renaissance if appropriate measures have been taken. Indian Union government has been taking steps for making universities autonomous and progressive. HEFA, NRF, NIRF, UA by NAAC are not just acronyms but deeply researched initiative for the Indian education sector. These must be revived and aligned with the objectives of the achieving creativity, out of the box thinking, and ideological disruptions. In our universities, debate, dissent, and discussions must be continued within the receiving and producing end of the policy making process. After all, what is a nation but the people in a constant dialogue? Thank you so much. Jai Hind.